Dumps like a truck, am I right?
Warning, today's video contains some mild talk of EDs, some commentary on racist imagery, and also Ben Shapiro. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to my channel, and if you've never been here before, I'm Fat Sajak, and you're not. I'm filming! I'm finally doing it. I think I have eggs in my teeth. Don't mind the eggs in my teeth, or my wonky eye, or my fat ass, or my poor lighting. Just don't mind anything. Just don't. Just pretend you don't see anything. Matcha! It's good to be here. It's good to be filming. I have a lot of things I need to film, and this is the beginning of me doing just that. Ooh, my throat burped a little. Before we get started today, just a quick note. Patreon, my social media, relevant and irrelevant links in the description. The unpredictability of using natural lighting in addition to my regular lighting. All of that can be found in the description box below because that's
how YouTube works.
Also, remember to like and subscribe preemptively because you'll never regret that decision. Today, as you could probably surmise, because you're not an idiot and you can read the title of the video, unless you can't read it and someone read it to you. I'm sorry for calling you an idiot. That was uncalled for. So is this hair. It's like a little fountain. A little fountain of stupid. Anyway, like I was saying before I so rudely interrupted myself. Ow! Stand up. Be a gentleman. Today is another installment of The Dump. So let's dive headfirst into the dumpster. Now, it's been a hot minute since I've put up an episode of The Dump, so there's been a lot to catch up on. So this is going to be a heap and hefty, big old ball sack full of barely researched information. But you don't come here for the facts. You come here for, why do you come here? What's your problem? Donald Trump, turns out, owes $83 million on top of $5 million plus interest to E. Jean Carroll because frankly, Trump can't even win a defamation trial because judges aren't stupid enough, like some of the people who vote in the general election. Carroll, by the way, is a brave angel, and I wish her all the best in what will now surely be her retirement, many enjoyable vacations, and whatever other good things life has to offer her from here on out. Anyway, in other news, Donald Trump owes $355 million and is barred from running any New York business for the next 3 years as punishment for, quote, fraudulently, woo, that's a word that sounded different when it came out of my mouth, for fraudulently inflating his net worth to obtain favorable treatment from banks and other lenders. You don't want to go too far when you're lying on your resume, kids. You really don't. You need to kind of take it easy, scale it back a bit. There's no way Donald Trump is proficient in Microsoft Excel. And listen, I'm not a mathematician or anything, believe it or not. It looks like Donald Trump is going to owe cumulatively, the calculator just says boobs. I'm guessing it's just way more money than he actually has. Enjoy your nightly ramen noodles, Mr. President. So, Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion are still feuding. But I'm going to leave that one alone because I don't think I have the attention span for it. All I know is this is bad music. To me, it's giving SoundCloud rapper who shouldn't quit their day job. Bring back Pink Friday, Nicki. And stop marrying convicted sex offenders. And speaking of bad music, Ben Shapiro, the patron saint of dorks, released this little ditty.
I've got the facts, my money like Blizzard, my pockets are fat. Homie, I'm epic, don't be a wap. Dog, it's a yarmulke, homie, no cap. Look at the graphs, look at my charts. You're blowing money on strippers and cars. You going to prison, I'm on television. Dogs, no one knows who you are.
I think that speaks for itself. Do I kind of like Tom from MySpace? You know, the love for music is subjective. And thank God for that. So both Caitlin Lowell and Alyssa Milano, Caitlin Lowell of Teen Mom fame and Alyssa Milano of every teenage boy's fantasy from the 1980s fame, they can both fuck off. Both of these ding-dongs were blasted on the internet as they respectively tried to start GoFundMes for things that they could personally afford. Caitlin, so that her dad could meet his girlfriend. Maybe I should research. According to The Sun, Caitlin met some valid criticism for asking people in this economy to donate money to her GoFundMe to raise $7,000 to afford a visa to bring her dad's fiance to the States. And according to the Google machine, Caitlin and her OnlyFans cash cow husband, because Caitlin's now pimp, apparently, have a combined net worth of over $1 million. So, I mean, I think you could afford to have your dad's mail order bride shipped overnight express USPS, babe. Now, Alyssa Milano was facing backlash for starting a GoFundMe asking for $10,000. I think it was something like her son's sports team. Yeah, it was for like her son's baseball trip. It all started when the actress posted on X, formerly Twitter. I do look like Tom from MySpace. Last month, asking fans to donate to a fundraiser for a trip for her son's baseball team. She linked to a GoFundMe page, which was created in May 2023, seeking $10,000. I think the real question is, why do you need $10,000 for a baseball trip? Are you paying for the whole team? Are you paying to go by private jet? I don't even care. You don't have to answer me if you know, because it's stupid, and the anger was absolutely justified. Because 2 weeks later, Alyssa Milano was at the fucking Super Bowl. Why did I just turn into Charlie Day? What the hell was that? Yeah, which was like thousands of dollars. And Alyssa Milano, according to the Google machine, has a net worth of around $10 million. So I would say, yeah, bitch, the anger do be justified. Stop asking poor people for money. Anybody. I work 6-7 days a week, and I'm barely scraping by. Alyssa Milano hasn't worked on anything profitable since like 1999, and like she could still pay my year of rent up front. So what I'm saying is I'm starting a GoFundMe for Alyssa Milano to pay my year of rent up front. Trisha Paytas is pregnant, and King Charles is dying. Oh, it's probably bad to laugh when someone's dying, but I just think it's humorous, no matter how you feel about Trisha Paytas, that it seems like Trisha Paytas will be the downfall of the British monarchy. And honestly, there are worse things. In other news, Colleen, the views are low ballinger, is continuing to upload her fascinating life to the YouTube. She recently reacted to some footage from her twins' time in the NICU. And honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. But let's watch a bit of it first while I drink my matcha, okay?
There's a little gouache in their nose. That's how they ate, just through their nose.
There's little boy.
Beds.
There's little girl.
Oh my God. This must have been right after I had them because I just said, here's the little boy and here's the little girl. So I hadn't named them yet. Oh my God, wait, listen.
We're here with the babies. There's little boy. There's little girl.
He's Look how tiny he is. Look at my hand compared to his hand. Oh my God, he was so small.
You want this? You want this? I'm gonna cuddle you, baby.
Oh my God, just the feeling. I remember the feeling so well of like just wanting to pick him up, but I couldn't like pick up my own babies without permission. Like, oh my God, it was so painful.
Yeah, that is painful. I have also experienced this, and it's brutally painful. That's all. I just want to add my 2 cents there.
It's like all those feelings, like immediately. There's Maisie. Her little beanies over her eyeballs.
So these are called scent cloths, and I keep them in my bra. They smell like me. And I put them in their cribs so that when I'm not there, they can smell me.
It's so awful. I mean, it's so sweet. It's so awesome. It's so great that they figured out ways for babies to like smell their moms when they're not there. But like, well, the fact that I even had to do that, like they should have. I wish I could have just had them on me. And I'm obviously so grateful for the incredible heroes that are NICU nurses and doctors. Like, oh my God.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there, Colleen. Yes, yeah, NICU nurses are fucking amazing, for sure. I mean, I had one NICU nurse that was amazing, but I think that was just my hospital. She is trying... Hold on. Let me preface this by saying my twins' birth was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. Okay? It was incredibly traumatic. It took me a solid year and a half to be able to talk about the birth of my twins. And it was just a regular birth. You know, they were technically fine. They just had to spend a lot of time in the NICU, and it was very distressing. It took me almost 2 years to be able to talk about the birth of my kids without crying, because the experience that I had was traumatic. And that involved like shitty hospital staff and terrible care in general. On top of the trauma of my kids going to the NICU. But enough about me. Like, you don't need to hear about my real life. She is trying so hard to work up tears here that it's almost haunting. If you watch old vlogs of hers, like, she used to cry like that. Like, I mean, really cry. Like, she'd get herself all worked up over, like, I don't know, her kid looking at a car. And then, like, she would just like weep openly. This is not that. This feels, I just spit. This feels icky. I don't know. There's something about this that feels incredibly off. It just feels like a very desperate ploy for sympathy and to elicit a feeling of empathy in her audience that may be like hate watching or whatever. I just feel like everything she does now is to try to like curry favor or like, I don't know, like kind of like, I don't know, win back the hearts of her YouTube audience or whatever the fuck. And honestly, I've only been barely keeping up with Colleen lately because frankly, she's boring. Second, frankly, every time I check in to see if she's like passive aggressively complaining about something, she's just exclusively exploiting her kids. Literally overstepping any sort of boundaries of privacy that those kids would ever have. The one thing she thinks is cute is that her 2-year-old daughter doesn't sleep. And like, listen, it takes all kinds, right? Like, there are always kids who just, they don't want to do it. They do things at their own pace. They do things on their own time. You know, some kids aren't sleepers. My kids didn't sleep well for the first year of their life. And I'm all for doing things differently or doing things how they work best for your family. But at some point, you have to look at the fact that developmentally, this child needs to sleep. Babies require like 12 hours of sleep. Now I know that's a wishy-washy number because, like I said, all kids are different. All babies do different things. You do what you want. You know, some kids even that shit out as they grow up, but developmentally, that baby needs rest. And instead, what Colleen is doing is putting a camera in her face at 3 o'clock in the morning and making it playtime. And you know, she needs the sleep more than she needs to be Miranda Jr. in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? You know, Colleen's still out here looking like a toddlers and tiaras mom, so no worries there. Matcha. Let's talk sports ball. So the Super Bowl happened last week, and Taylor Swift was there. Now listen, one thing you may or may not know about me is that I am not a Swiftie, like at all. Like, I don't much care for her music. I don't much care for her. If you do, that's fine by me. You're the majority. You're okay. You're doing fine. I'm not judging you. Be nice. You know, you do what you gotta do. You Swiftie it the fuck up. I'm just gonna be over here. I'm Tom from MySpace. You can't be mad at Tom from MySpace. But one thing I'm not gonna do as not a Swiftie is complain about a woman supporting her boyfriend by being at his football game. The sheer amount of average white guys complaining about having to see Taylor Swift on their screen for a collective 15 seconds during their foosball game is staggering, especially considering all the things that are going on in the world, right? Be mad that Disney Plus is taking away its password sharing and increase their prices by 100%. Be mad about the cost of living and the cost of groceries. Be mad about mass genocide. Be mad about not having a sufficient amount of snacks in your house. Like, there are a myriad of things actually worth being angry about. And literally none of them are Taylor Swift supporting her boyfriend at his football game. You sound stupid, you bunch of fucking dorks. Anyway, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, so I guess her magic is still intact. I don't know, man. I fell asleep during the commercial break before overtime. So I guess you could say timing's kind of my thing. Speaking of football, the internet was ablaze when Travis Kelce's girlfriend accepted her Grammy and then subsequently snubbed the shit out of Celine Dion. Hearts break for Celine Dion. Like, moments later, the two were like seen taking, you know, they were taking photos together, and it seems like, you know, a moment of apparent snubbery and snobbery did not stand in the way of the two connecting backstage. So glue your little hearts back together and your heart will go on a plate. That was an SNL joke and I stole it just now, but I credited them because that's what you do. Don't steal other people's jokes. Speaking of stealing other people's jokes, Amy Schumer received a bunch of criticism, we'll call it, I guess, for having a face. Amy Schumer had an appearance on like Fallon or something, and I saw like little snippets while I was scrolling, and I sent it to my friends and I was like, dude, is Amy Schumer like okay? Like, she looks like not okay. And we kind of agreed that she looked like kind of like she was wearing like a fat makeup in her face. There was so much swelling. And I mean that like fat as like a descriptor, not a pejorative necessarily. And then like within the next day, the internet was like blowing up about it. And considering how much the internet hates fat people, hates Amy Schumer, and will not say something about this, obviously it got back to Amy Schumer as well, and she made the following statement, promoting her show, and then says, thank you so much for everyone's input about my face. I've enjoyed feedback and deliberation about my appearance, as all women do, for almost 20 years. And you're right, it is puffier than normal right now. I have endometriosis, an autoimmune disease that every woman should read about. There are some medical and hormonal things going on in my world right now, but I'm okay. Historically, women's bodies have been barely studied medically compared to men. The book, all in her hand, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so she's got endo, and that would explain the puffiness in her face. I legit thought she was doing, like, when I scrolled, like, I wasn't like, oh my god, Amy got fat. I was like, I thought she was legit doing a bit. So Amy Schumer has endometriosis, and it has caused puffiness in her face. And now you know. Kind of on the other side of that spectrum, Eugenia Cooney was banned from TikTok. They had 30 days, demonetized. I don't know. TikTok was like, don't. And she was like, this.
It just kind of is what it is. No more alarm shot. But I'm miserable. I've been miserable this last month not having this. I'm way worse without it.
There's a reason I don't speak much on Eugenia Cooney. I don't think a person should not be able to make a living because they struggle with an eating disorder. But on that same token, I also don't think that the lines get a little blurred because her job is so public and influential in a way to young men, women, non-binary folks, etc. And we live in a culture that praises thinness. And especially because she is one to frequently body check and participate in activities that show off her body, which is very clearly emaciated, and it's a fine line for me, particularly on a platform like TikTok, where you know, things like this, you know, if you're being honest with yourself, Eugenia Cooney is a very jarring person to look at when she is in the throes of her disorder, because she is emaciated. She very, very clearly has an eating disorder. And that can be incredibly triggering to people who also have eating disorders, or body dysmorphia or dysphoria, or, you know, any type of issue such as that. And so I think it's kind of a slippery slope. Obviously, she's in a position where her only comfort and companionship seems to come from her time on TikTok, online, and that's incredibly sad. And I have a lot of feelings about her mother, and I have a lot of feelings about that situation. But I guess at the end of the day, I'm relatively neutral on this topic, because I wouldn't look at an alcoholic and say, you don't deserve to make a living. I would say, you deserve to make a living, but we need to make this a safer environment. So I don't know what that means in terms of, you know, Eugenia Cooney specifically, but I do hope that if you are triggered by stuff like this, that first of all, I remembered to put a trigger warning at the beginning of this video. And second of all, that you keep yourself in a good mental and physical health headspace, and don't do your best to not subject yourself to things that trigger that in you, and be well. Okay, enough. And last but not least, who could forget the week's biggest fucking idiots? These racist Sephora people. Now, I had heard rumblings of kids going into Sephora and basically like trashing the samples and displays and things, which fair play, you know, as an elder millennial, I was a mall rat, and I fucked up my share of retail displays and such. Don't do that. This is not me promoting that, but I did do it. Anyway, that pales in comparison to what these dumbasses have done. Roll it, Phil.
Shame.
Go ahead.
Like, literally.
It's jobs.
consequences, let alone how incredibly effective this is.
This is so wild. It's not a face
I'm
mask.
so sorry.
This is
to
so
everyone
shameful.
witnessing
This is so shameful. Like,
this. We don't. Sorry.
Yeah. Blackface in a Sephora during Black History Month while mom watches on with pride. Surely a warm family moment that will be treasured for decades to come. Although at one point the mom like dips and she's like, good luck, Brindley, you're on your own. Well, Brindley, which I'm assuming is your name, considering your radiating white suburbanness. A quick Google on the Google machine, you know, the one that type in to look up, like, I don't know, what do teenage girls look up? How to be a bitch. You might get like a quick rundown of the history of blackface and why it's incredibly damaging and hideous and heinous and vile and just ripe with all the most horrific things in American history. Actually, the top result is from the National Museum of African American History and Culture. The first minstrel shows were performed in 1830s New York by white performers with blackened faces and tattered clothing who imitated and mimicked enslaved Africans on southern plantations. These performances characterized blacks as lazy, ignorant, superstitious, hypersexual, and prone to thievery and cowardice. Thomas Dartmouth Rice, known as the father of minstrelsy, developed the first popularly known blackface character, Jim Crow, in 1830. Surely, Brindley, you've heard the name Jim Crow. It's probably, I would imagine, it comes up a lot at your family meetings. The White Party. By 1845, the popularity of the minstrel had spawned an entertainment sub-industry. I don't know why I can't read today. Manufacturing songs and sheet music, makeup, costumes, as well as a ready set of stereotypes upon which to build new performances. Anyway, I'll link this article below in case you, Brindley, and your 5th grade reading level got your hands on a fresh vape and you're looking for something to practice your reading skills with. You might want to make different decisions, white girls, white kids, white adults. Don't do blackface, literally ever. There's literally no reason for you to ever do blackface, ever. Even if you're doing a charcoal mask and you're like, no, fucking no. You're not funny, it's not clever, it's not a thing you should be doing. It shouldn't even cross your mind. So maybe don't. The fact that I even have to say that out loud, in earnest, in the year of Travis Kelce's girlfriend, 2024, is absolutely astounding. It's really not. Racism, unfortunately, is all too prevalent. Anyway, I feel like this is a weird note to end on, but I gotta go. So I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed this iteration of The Dump. I hope it dumped all over you. Am I okay? If you liked the video, like the video. If you didn't like the video, like the video. Or dislike the video. It's all engagement to me. That's my favorite Billy Joel song. Subscribe if it serves you to do so. If not, well, no worries, because I'm excellent at holding grudges. I have an updated Janelle Evans video in which I will largely just be screaming. So if you haven't caught up on any of those, I'll link the playlist so you can catch up on what's going on with Janelle, because there have been developments that I don't want to share, but I'm gonna. So that's gonna go up shortly after this one. Patreon, you're getting a weird ass video this week, so if you like weird ass videos and 90s nostalgia, my Patreon channel memberships, either way, you'll get it. You'll both get it. You're all gonna get it. You're gonna fucking get it, okay? I'm also halfway through scripting my next Teen Mom series, which is on Kale. It's a bulky one. It's much bulkier than I thought it was going to be. I kind of forgot about a lot of Kale's transgressions. I'm slowly working on a little something else, and in between, obviously, we'll have the dump and some bigger stories. We haven't covered Shane Dawson in a while, which for some of you, that's a godsend, and for others of you, you're like, what the fuck? Make fun of Shane's dumb hair. We'll get there. Let me know if there's something you want me to cover below. And maybe I'll do it. But I probably won't. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for the outtakes if there are any. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. You know how it goes. Jokes. Getting $5,000 Taylor Swift tickets. Y'all scare me. Do I have matcha on my face? Tom from MySpace. Roll it, Paul.
Tom from MySpace is a Swiftie.